Hi, welcome back to the channel. I just thought it would be a good idea to do a quick follow-on to my video yesterday, because it was my first video in a few weeks, and it was basically I put out a call for an advice from you guys, from my subscribers and viewers, and I got a really lovely response and some really helpful comments, and I just wanted to thank you all because it really did help. I was just having a moment of like, I don't know, like insecurity, I suppose, and often these things can be rationalized away, and all of your comments were just really great, you know, really relevant and really helpful. So I do feel confident that, you know, getting back into my career is probably just a case of chilling out. As people were saying, just relax, you're an overthinker. I know this, I've been told all my life that I think too much. It's fine, it's not a problem. It was just a moment in time, and I thought, shit, I better do a video and I'll do it about this. But actually I was also kind of deflecting from, well, okay, so one of the reasons I came across the way I did in the last video is because it's not been an easy week, and that's because me and Ant have broken up. So that was about a week ago. I didn't really feel ready to talk about it in the last video, so I concentrated only on the work issue. But that work issue, you know, half the time I experience it as a positive, you know, that I have got my energy back, and I'm in a situation where I can look over what I can do and what my options are. And everybody was spot on when, you know, in your advice, and really there's so much and people reached out to me on email as well, which I love it when people do that, because, you know, people who reach out to me over email, they've had to find my email address online, like they've made an effort, and I really appreciate that. I'm really touched, and I will get back to you. If I haven't replied to you yet, I will get back to you. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much about what's gone on with Ant, and the main thing is we're trying to figure out a way that we can still be in each other's lives and remain friends and business partners, you know, continue to carry out the plans that we have. And when we made the decision to leave the mountain and move to Galicia, I was the one that had to make that decision ultimately for myself, knowing that no relationship is guaranteed. I'm not doing this depending on Ant. I'm doing this because I need and want to do it anyway. So it doesn't change much. And Ant's like family to me, so I'm not going to sit here and badmouth him. I would never do that. I like to think I'm classier than that. I have so much love for Ant. I wish him only the best, you know, whatever the outcome of this situation is, I wish him only the best. He will always be the guy who showed up when I was in a pit of loneliness and hopelessness and whisked me off to Turkey, to Göbekli Tepe, which is the oldest megalithic structure in the entire world, which features in my novel. And he said, let's go there, in my Citroen Berlingo, and he took me. And, you know, I never expected that kind of thing to happen at that stage in my life, and what he did for me there are no words for, and it is priceless, and he will always be my family. And I feel like basically what's happened is, I'm not going to say anything that is to do with our relationship in itself, that's private, but all of the stresses of the last year and the outside external influences have basically been criminal, and they are what has ultimately led to us not being able to make it work on a more intimate level. But we still both want to make it work on a practical level, and, you know, the world's becoming an increasingly more precarious place, so we do need to pull together and not let these things break us. So yeah, and I'm already on Tinder, by the way. I'm not one of those people that, like, me and Ant were never deeply in love. It wasn't that type of relationship. Also, I don't need relationships to last forever. I was never invested in it for that. Like, I see relationships as absolutely precious and valuable for what they are in the moment, and even when they end, that was not lost. You know, that I look back on all of my friendships and relationships, that people who are strangers to me now, and, you know, and I have love for the relationship I used to have with them. So it's fine, but that is probably why I came across as a little bit more anxious and stressed in the moment yesterday. I feel much better today, and really I feel a lot better since posting that video and getting your feedback. I mean, there's so much to say and there's so much to think about. And I have a date tomorrow in Gijón with a guy who is actually, it turns out he's an author who needs his book translating. So whatever comes of that meeting, maybe it's a bit soon to be on Tinder, but I just did it spontaneously and I didn't pay too much attention to it. And then I got a match and I was like, all right. And we got talking and yeah, he's an author. So like, as somebody in the comments said, you know, meet the people around you and see what work opportunities come through that. So I'm going to meet the Spanish guy, and that's the best thing for your language skills, and also just for general integration, you know, and through one person that you make friends with, you make other friends and contacts. I mean, I'm open to a relationship as well, whatever, but he seems like a really, really nice guy. So whatever, like, it's all good. I'm going there tomorrow. I'll fill you in on how that date goes. But yeah, it's a sad time, you know. It was a precious relationship with Ant, but as I say, it's not over. Our relationship still remains, and it always will. And all the people that decided that either I had murdered him or he was a big fat con man that was lying about his qualifications and his military experience, it can go to hell, because they're way off. You know, they don't know anything about what's gone on between us, or the reasons that we got together, or the reasons that we stayed together, or the reasons that we broke up. It's not anybody else's business. People need to just get on with their own lives and stay out of other people's. Because of the carnivore diet, I feel able to weather this breakup and this change in circumstances, because what is there to lose? Like, I've gained a relationship which is 1.5 years of experience and travels and excitement and happiness and difficulties and sadness and all of that. Like, it's been an enriching life experience, and honestly, one that I didn't think I'd ever have again, because when Ant came into my life, it was 7 years since I'd gone near a man. And I didn't want that. I didn't feel able to participate in that area of life at all. So what Ant did for me, I can't put into words. You know, he literally rescued me from that situation that I was in. So, and has, you know, as we break up, I look at my life and I'm in a much, much better place. I would never have joined Tinder 1.5 years ago. Oh, and I should say as well that he did actually manage to sort out the situation with the flat tyre and the jack. He managed to change the tyre without me having to drive to Galicia with a new jack, so that was really good. Yeah, and I also want to emphasise that although he's been ill, he's been working really hard, as well as he can do, here in my house and in the new property in Galicia. So and on the mountain, you know, he's been helping out as much as he can. He's not just lazing around, you know. Far from it. Like, he's the kind of guy that if he has got the energy, he will work too much, you know. And so yeah, we're both good people who are flawed and just trying our best. So I just want to extend that compassion and respect towards him and the deepest of love. And his mum's coming out at the end of March, and I couldn't be more excited, you know. His mum, Lorraine, is absolutely lovely. Hi, if you're watching, and let's just keep a smile on our faces and keep moving on, and we can all be living a great life. But yeah, that was why my video was a little bit fraught yesterday, and I felt a bit embarrassed about that, looking back through it and seeing some of the comments that were like, and I was like, yeah, I know it's true. I'm stressing and I'm overthinking everything, but it's just for this past week, I've been wandering around in a daze, smoking way too much weed, not leaving the house, just normal breakup stuff. But what was really nice was the day after it, you know, we actually did split, and he drove to Galicia, which was the plan anyway. So it was just like, you carry on, we'll have some space from each other. And I stepped out of the house into the Quintana, which is the little space outside the front of the house. One of my neighbours was there, and her landlord, who comes and goes from the village to check in on her because they're quite good friends. He and his wife are good friends with her, their tenant. So they were out there, and I went up to them, and Joanna, my neighbour, was like, "You all right?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I just separated from my..." And I started to cry, and she was like, "Oh my God," and she just hugged me, and the guy as well, he was just like, "Oh no, that's so sad when that happens, and I split with my wife of 20 years, and I was heartbroken when my son split up with his girlfriend," and just, you know, and she was like, "I've got so many stories to tell you about my love life," and hugs, and, you know, whatever you need, and just absolutely lovely. And I don't have that up the mountain. I don't have that type of support. The fact that I didn't find it easy to integrate because of the pandemic and blah, blah, blah. But this village is a completely different story, and I already feel, you know, that I've got like 5 neighbours in the winter. Estelle, Gloria, Charo, Joanna, and that's about it. and they're all my friends, and they're just, and it feels like a lot of the people are elderly or single, or, you know, just living slow, peaceful lives in the mountains in Spain. That's what I need. That's exactly what I need. It's exactly the vibe I need. In order to be able to get back into the thick and flow of life, I need to have a gentle place to come and rest and decompress. And I really feel like this little village is the perfect thing right now. It's exactly what I need. I don't need the mountain anymore because I've got my energy back. What I do need is a sense of being in a comfortable home and surrounded by kind, supportive neighbours, and to be able to integrate into Spanish life. Because, you know, being in a relationship with a British guy also didn't help in that respect. So I'm really looking forward to, it feels like I've just moved to Spain in some ways. Like, I spent 4 years isolated up a mountain. I wasn't really living in Spain. I was just living away from the entire world, recuperating. Now I've recuperated, I've moved into Spain. And here we begin. And I'm really, really excited about it. So I feel up for it. And then as people in the comments were saying, you know, it is a question of maybe starting small, thinking about what I've achieved, and not thinking about what I haven't achieved, not thinking about my flaws and my limitations, but focusing on my new abilities and as a carnivore, and my old abilities that I can work to get back. So yeah, I think really I just wanted to clarify that that was partly what my state of mind was all about yesterday. But I've woken up today feeling like almost like a different person. And again, like I say, it was because I put this video out yesterday and got these replies. All of them I've sat and thought about and absorbed and deeply appreciate. So, and I'm sure I'm not the only person, I know I'm not the only person in this type of situation. It's just a case of, it's like having a muscle that's wasted away through disuse after 8 years. If you lay on the sofa for 8 years and didn't use your legs, even if you had healthy legs, you know, you'd try to get off the sofa and you wouldn't be able to walk on your legs. And it's exactly the same. It feels exactly like that. Not that the muscle isn't there to be rehabilitated, but that it needs to be rehabilitated before I can use it. And so there is like a process, but that's not an insurmountable mountain. You know, as someone else said, you know, look what you've achieved already. You know, it's just another mountain to climb. And someone else suggested do something that's not in my skill set, that's not in my old career, because there's so much pressure you put on yourself to reach the heights that you were at. And I feel the same with my spoken Spanish. I feel like, why don't, like, Ant's like, you always say you're not fluent in Spanish, but you're completely fluent to me. And I'm like, yeah, that's because you don't speak Spanish. I know. And anyone who does speak Spanish will know that it's actually quite, my accent, my British accent's quite strong. You know, I don't always have the exact vocabulary that I want. And I used to be a hell of a lot better. I used to be a lot more fluent. That's easily fixable. Just mix with Spanish people and talk. And the only reason I wasn't able to before was because I was ill. And then because I got caught up in all the British expats, which was a waste of time. But that's fine. Like, you know, I can start from this point and continue to work on my Spanish. The other thing that I didn't mention in the last video is that this YouTube channel is a source of income for me. the only source of income actually that I currently have, which is crazy. And I've actually earned enough over the past year to pay back my video camera, which is just wild. Like, I didn't ever imagine that. And actually, Adja Matthews, you've paid for half of it. Adja Matthews, like, every single time, you've just been so supportive, and you're like, you know, it feels like you're my you guys, you're my friends. Like, I haven't felt this much validation from the outside world at all since I first got ill. Like, I could go through so many stories where I just haven't been believed. That would be a topic of a video in itself. Not being believed when you have a chronic illness is, for me, the most traumatic level of the experience that I had. So to be on YouTube and to have a community of people that not only believe me but are going through the same and experiencing similar outcomes is just crazily valuable to me. It's precious. It's really precious. And I feel like you guys are my friends, and I would love to meet you all in real life. It's been such a saving grace having this channel and watching it grow and reading your comments. You just have no idea what it's done for me. So yeah, maybe I should have called this video, "Can the carnivore diet cure my broken heart?" And I already know it can, because I am not, you know, this change in circumstances hasn't knocked my energy levels or confidence in the possibilities for my future, because, you know, my whole future wasn't hanging on Ant. My future hangs on my health, and I have my health, so, and my mental health is much better. I know I came across stressed in the last video, but the thing is, I don't want my carnivore videos to just be like woo 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 every single video, because although that is true the majority of the time, I am feeling the miracle every single day of having my body back and having my strength back and my mental clarity and faculties back. That's not going to ever stop. I'm never going to get tired of that. I'm never going to not feel deeply grateful for that. But we all go through stressful times. You know, you have a stressful week and then you have a good week, and it's completely normal. So I just want my journey as I record it to capture those moments as well, and to capture the moments, you know, it's a day later and I'm in a completely different frame of mind. So it's also about how you respond to those moments of stress, which I feel like I'm getting better at. You know, when I look back on how I was before I met Ant and before I started the carnivore diet, I was like somebody with no skin, and any insult or judgment from the outside world had the power to completely crush me, and then I would just go deeper into my shell and get more and more and more vulnerable and overthinking everything, and I was just not well. But first and foremost, as I've always insisted, it came from the fact that I wasn't physically able to live my life the way I would like to live it. So it was, the judgments felt much harsher because I felt like they were judging somebody who wasn't actually me. They couldn't see me, and they couldn't see the struggle I had, and they were just very unforgiving. That was a word that somebody used in one of the comments, was unforgiving. The world of work, the social world is very unforgiving in this day and age, and it really is. But it's the same for everyone, so you just have to carry on, and you have to not contribute to that general atmosphere. So yeah, so that's where we're at, and I will do another update really soon if I can about my work life, and tell you guys the positive steps that I've taken towards building my new career. And also I wanted to do a carnivore Q&A, and I put out on the community tab, I asked for people who wanted to give your questions. So if you want to help me out to put together my next video by submitting questions, I'd really love that. That would be great, whether it's on the community tab or in comments underneath the videos. I'm going to be looking through and collating questions. So take care, all of you. I cannot thank you enough. You make me feel like my existence has some kind of value, and that's really wonderful. So really take care of yourselves, and thank you from the bottom of my heart and see you next time. Take care.